Welcome to the future. The announcer's voice boomed through the event hall, a sound I heard from 1,000 miles away. On the massive stage screen, the sleek Aegis logo dissolved, but not into the product demo everyone was expecting. Instead, it revealed a live feed of Julian Croft's office. He was clutching a phone, his knuckles white, his face a mask of fury. "Say it, Leo," he snarled into the receiver, a sound only I could hear. "Say you've lost." I leaned closer to my own microphone, my apartment silent around me. "Okay, Julian," I said, and my voice, quiet as a prayer, echoed through that hall full of thousands. "I've lost." The trap was sprung. Just 2 minutes before, the world was still Julian's. He was a king trapped in his castle, staring at the giant monitor on his wall. My monitor now. The countdown I'd placed there was ticking towards 0 in stark red numbers. 00, 02, 00. 2 minutes until the launch that was meant to make him a legend. 2 minutes until the system he stole from me would broadcast his ruin to the entire planet. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the oppressive quiet. This was it, one shot. If any part of my code failed, if he found a way to cut the connection, I wasn't just a ghost. I was a ghost who'd be spending the rest of his life in a federal prison. My burner phone vibrated on the desk, a jagged tear in the tension. Anya's name glowed on the screen. I almost ignored it. "Leo," her voice was a terrified whisper. "He's lost his mind." He threw a tablet at the wall. "Security is trying to override the door lock, but whatever you did, it's holding. Just stay away from his office," I said, my own voice tight. "Keep your head down, it's almost over." "He's been on the phone with his personal security team," she rushed on, her words tumbling over each other. "He told them to dig. He said he had one last card to play, a failsafe he has on you." "Leo, what does he have?" A cold knot formed in my stomach. Julian always had an insurance policy. "It doesn't matter," I lied. "He can't use what he can't broadcast." But a new variable was on the board, a piece I hadn't accounted for. What did he find? The countdown on my monitor hit 000000. The live stream for the Aegis global launch began. A slick, expensive video filled the screen, showing smiling people using products that didn't exist yet. The future, according to Julian Croft. On my second monitor, the one showing the feed from the pinhole camera in his office, he was pacing. The countdown on his wall vanished, replaced by a single black screen with a blinking white cursor, an invitation, awaiting a command. His desk phone rang. He knew it was me. He lunged for it. "You think this is clever, you little ghost?" he spat. That's when I made my move. With a keystroke, I rerouted the main broadcast. The slick marketing video vanished from the stage in the convention center, from laptops and phones all over the world. It was replaced by the grainy, stark footage from my hidden camera. The announcer's pre-recorded hype, "Welcome to the future," boomed over the image of Julian, alone and cornered, his beautiful suit suddenly looking like a costume on a desperate man. A collective gasp went through the live audience. I could hear it through the broadcast feed. Julian saw himself on his own monitor. He saw the live icon in the corner. He understood. His face went pale, then flushed with a terrifying rage. He tried to recover, to play the part. "A minor technical glitch, ladies and gentlemen," he said, forcing a smile for the camera he now knew was watching. An old colleague with a flair for the dramatic. I said nothing. I just let his lie hang in the charged air, a dead thing. His composure shattered. "Turn it off, Leo," he hissed, his voice dropping to a low threat. "Turn it off now, or I swear I will not just ruin you, I will erase you. I will salt the earth where your name was ever spoken." "It's a little late for that, Julian," I said, my voice now piped into the auditorium, into the homes of his investors, his customers. His eyes narrowed. "You want to play this out? Fine." He leaned back, a predator's smirk returning to his face, and then he said the words from the flash forward, the ones I'd been waiting for. "Say it, Leo. Say you've lost." "Okay, Julian," I repeated, letting my voice sound defeated. "I've lost." He let out a short, sharp laugh, a sound of pure triumph. He thought he'd broken me. He thought he'd won the war of nerves on a global stage. He admits it, Julian announced to his unseen audience. You all heard it. He admits it. Now let's talk about legacy. He leaned forward, his face filling the frame. He was speaking to me, but performing for the world. I did some digging, Leo, on your father. A brilliant programmer, they said. Had a little startup of his own back in the day, didn't he? A real visionary. But it went under, a spectacular failure. He paused for effect, letting the cruelty land. He was a great starter, Leo, but he was weak. He couldn't finish what he started. The words hit me like a physical blow, a secret shame I'd carried my whole life, but through the pain, I watched the screen. Behind Julian, the blinking cursor on his monitor stopped blinking. The words he had just spoken appeared in clean, white text. Voice authentication, accepted. Final command, couldn't finish what he started. Ghost protocol, execute. Julian's face went slack. The smug satisfaction dissolved into confusion, then dawning horror. It wasn't just his voice I'd needed. The ghost wasn't activated by a simple command. It was a Trojan horse waiting for a key. A very specific key. A phrase of pure psychological cruelty that I knew Julian would one day dig up and use as a weapon. The ugliest part of his soul was the final switch. The screen behind him split. On the left, his terrified face live. On the right, a cascade of information began to scroll. The original Aegis Incorporation documents with my signature next to his. The forged resignation letter. The wire transfers to the offshore account used to frame me. His emails to the board, laughing about how he'd cut out the dead weight. Every lie, every crime, every single piece of his betrayal. Broadcast flawlessly by the system he'd stolen to build his empire. My voice came over the speakers one last time, cold, clear, and steady. You're right, Julian. My father couldn't finish it, but I can. The feed stayed live for another 10 minutes. We watched him crumble. We watched him unplug the monitor as if that would stop it. We watched the red and blue lights flash against his penthouse windows, and then we watched as police in tactical gear breached his office door. He didn't fight. He just stood there, a hollow man in an expensive suit, staring at the wreckage of his life as they put the cuffs on him. A week later, I was standing across the street from the Aegis Tower. The giant, silver logo was gone, leaving a faint, dirty outline on the glass. It was over. The rage that had fueled me for 2 years had burned itself out, leaving behind a strange, quiet calm. Vengeance wasn't a victory lap. It was just the end of a long, dark road. My phone rang, an unfamiliar number. Mr. Vance, a man's voice said. My name is David Chen. I'm with the firm representing the Aegis Interim Board. They've managed to firewall the damage, and they believe the company can be salvaged. They'd like to talk to you about your future and theirs. I looked at the wounded building, at the empty space where Julian's name had once gleamed. For the first time since he'd betrayed me, I had a choice that wasn't about the past. It was about what came next. I'll think about it, I said, and hung up. I turned away from the ghost of my old life and started walking, the sun on my face. Next on Cold Karma, a world-famous magician dies on stage during his greatest illusion. His jealous apprentice insists it was murder, but to prove it, she'll have to solve a trick the entire world was meant to fall for.